There's a famous episode of Parks and Recreation where Tom Haverford and Donna Meagle celebrate their annual holiday. Treat yourself. Massages, luxury clothes, fine leather goods. No guilt, no hesitation, just, I want it, so I'm buying it. And honestly, most people laugh because there's something deeply relatable about it. You work hard, you're stressed, life feels heavy. You've been disciplined for at least 3 days. And suddenly, the truck feels justified. The vacation feels necessary. The kitchen renovation feels urgent. That Amazon cart somehow becomes self-care. The modern world is built around one central message. If you want it now, you probably deserve it now. But here's the problem. Many of the worst financial decisions people make aren't evil, irrational, or necessarily irresponsible. They're emotional. They're quick decisions, impulse buys, and lifestyle creep. Tiny compromises repeated for years. And often the issue isn't the purchase itself, but the speed with which it's made. Because wise financial decisions, especially the large ones, usually need some time, discussion, prayer, patience, margin, and sometimes a good night's sleep. Today we're going to talk about the tension between immediate gratification and delayed gratification, and why learning to slow down financially might be one of the most important wealth building skills there is. Welcome to Plan to Prosper, where we exist to honor God by helping faithful servants steward their finances wisely and build wealth that endures for generations. Okay, Logan, we are here in a brand new space this week, recording another episode of Plan to Prosper.
Yeah, we look brighter.
Brighter, cleaner, more, I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to be in a little bit of a different spot. If anybody's just listening to this, they'll have no idea what we're talking about. But
true. Plants behind us.
Go on YouTube and see what we're talking about because it's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll do this more from now on because it's a nice space.
Brand new sign.
New sign, courtesy of Westchester Studios, where we record these podcasts. So thank you to those guys. But yeah, good to be here for another episode. We're going to talk about gratification when it comes to your financial decisions and comparing instant gratification and delayed gratification, and why it's not always cut and dry that it should always be delayed gratification, but why a lot of wise decisions should be maybe a little more patience should be involved.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in an age where it's so easy to get that instant gratification.
Yeah.
You used to have to go to the store, things like that, but now with everything, basically, you can create that instant gratification.
Exactly. Yeah. So the core thesis of our episode today is that most bad financial decisions don't happen because you're dumb. They happen because your emotions are outweighing the wisdom, or your desire in the moment outruns the patience with which that you might want to exercise to actually make that decision. Or
hopefully, you might just be dumb.
You could just be. That's true. I did say that it's not just because you're dumb, but it could be because you're dumb. People do make dumb financial decisions all the time.
Yeah.
I just don't like to be mean to people.
I agree. Yeah. I don't mind as much.
Yeah, that's true. So it's mostly like an emotional thing. And you're right. And we're going to get to a lot of these examples, but the culture we live in today and just the technology that exists today make it so easy to fall into these traps because so many of the things that just by necessity, like 100 years ago, last week, Jake and I talked about life 100 years ago and what financial life looked like back then. There was just natural friction with financial decisions. Like you didn't have an Amazon cart with your credit card pre-linked to it that you could just click one button and you would have it delivered in a day. Like that just didn't exist. So there are some new obstacles that in our current day and age that we have to fight to make sure we're making wise financial decisions.
Even like my kids, we're renting a car right now and it's the plug-in for the phone and stuff isn't as easy. So we haven't really been doing it. So we've been listening to the radio. And they're like, well, can we play this song? I'm like, nope, we're listening to whatever's on the radio. And
yeah.
What kind of world is this?
Yeah, we actually utilize that with our kids when it comes to the TV they watch, even though this might be a bit of a white lie, but they'll ask for something and be like, oh, that's not on right now. And we'll see how long we can keep that up.
Yeah.
I think they clearly have some kind of understanding that we're like searching for things and putting things on, but sometimes they'll request something and it's like, we're not watching that right now. So we just say,
it's not on right now.
That's not on right now. Because when we were growing up, we were the cards that we were dealt, we had to deal with.
Yeah.
On the TV, that is.
Got to wait until 4 o'clock or
That's
whatever.
Right. Did you ever watch there was a TV Guide channel that just had a scrolling grid
Yeah.
of what was on for the next few hours.
Yep. With like some person talking about
Yeah.
everything that's on TV.
Yeah. Those were the days, a very different time. So I think obviously there's like major purchases involved with like people could regret things like buying a car that they couldn't afford, buying too big of a house if you're house rich, cash poor, maybe taking too big of a vacation that you weren't really prepared for financially.
Yeah, definitely.
Financing furniture. We did that a couple years ago, and I don't regret it, to be clear. I actually think that was a good decision, but that can certainly happen where you end up buying more than what you initially planned on because you get the 12-month no interest credit card with it. Luxury upgrades or lifestyle inflation. There's lots of things that major decisions you can make that could potentially derail your finances at least a little bit because you were too hasty with the decision.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the show Friends at all?
I did not.
There was one episode so kind of similar to like lifestyle inflation. It's one episode where three of them, I think it was Joey, Chandler, and Phoebe. Maybe not Chandler, Monica. I can't remember the third one, but they kept following around the other three who were like going out to really nice dinners and things like that. And they finally had to sit down and be like, we're poor. We can't afford all of this that you guys can. So that kind of the lifestyle inflation, you got to make sure you're also hanging out with the right people at the right times.
Totally. Yeah. So the world says, follow your heart. You deserve this. Treat yourself like in Parks and Rec. But I think wisdom will have us slow down a little bit because Proverbs 21:5 says the plans of the diligent surely lead to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. Proverbs 19:2 says desire without knowledge is not good. Whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. So kind of the idea there is if you have this strong desire for something, but there's no knowledge behind it. There's no, let me think about this for a while. And you're just making that decision hastily. You might miss the mark there.
Yeah. And then there's also Luke 14:28-30. I didn't write it down, but I know the gist. Basically, Jesus says, who of you wouldn't count the cost before starting to build a tower so that you're not ridiculed when you didn't count the cost and you can't finish building the tower?
Yeah. Yeah. And we see this with clients too, that like it's a natural thing. I think everybody struggles with this in some degree or another, but you just fall in love with an idea of something. Maybe it's a house, maybe it's a vacation house. And they go, hey, we want to take $100,000 out of our retirement account to pay for this. And they're 45 years old. And it's like, have you really thought about this decision? Because that's maybe not the best thing to do with your money.
Do you still want to retire at 60?
Yeah, right. Like you're making a pretty big decision here, and you didn't even talk to us beforehand. Like it seems like you're already in the house and you're asking for this kind of a thing. So if you have a financial advisor, especially with major decisions like that, make sure to talk to them before you even let yourself get emotionally invested in this decision, because they might tell you, hey, we would not recommend that, and it could help your decision making.
Yeah. It's just a good accountability practice to run it through somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're married, that's obviously going to be a big thing. Mm-hmm. Don't make huge financial decisions apart from your spouse, probably.
Yeah, yep.
And then, bringing in other counsel will help the two of you in your marriage as well, because you could both fall in love with a bad idea. Mm-hmm. So, I think I mentioned this in the cold opening. Sometimes you just need to sleep on it, and maybe sleep on it a couple nights. But to just like make the decision in a moment and then go all in. A lot of bad decisions can be made. So let's talk a little bit about this modern, like we talked about it a little bit earlier, but modern culture, some examples of how a lot of friction in financial decisions has been removed, and everything it's kind of pitched as convenience. And it's nice to not have to enter my credit card every time I buy something on Amazon. But honestly, that actually might not be the worst thing in the world, because it would prevent, impulse decisions where it's like, let's just buy it, one click buy kind of a thing. Even now, like if you watch something on Amazon Prime, it's connected to your Amazon account. And so if you pause the show, it'll put up an ad for something and allow you to click it right on your TV and go, do you want to buy this thing that we're advertising to you right now? Like they're trying to make it so simple that you can buy stuff from your TV now. And maybe that's been around for years and I just sound like an old man being like, whoa, this is crazy. But your credit cards are stored on all the apps you regularly buy on, DoorDash, Amazon. maybe it's worth, if you find yourself overspending in some of these places, taking that credit card off of there and forcing yourself to manually put it in every time and adding a little bit of friction to the decision.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't think anybody from corporate Amazon listens to this, but like all of Danielle's family has access to our Prime account.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to enter my credit card every time, but when you click the drop down, there are like 45 different credit cards because nobody removes it when it expires.
Yeah.
So I do have to pull my credit card out every time and make sure it matches.
True. That can work.
Yeah.
I feel like I see this in stores a lot where it's like, sign up for our credit card and get 10% off today's order. So you end up with like 20 credit cards because you're just like, yeah, sure. Like, let me get an extra 10% off. This seems like a wise decision. I'm getting extra money off. But what you're doing is you're just adding debt to your life, and that they're going to count on some people not paying it off before
Like me every time.
the promotional period ends.
Yep.
And so you end up with a super high interest debt. That's not good.
It's like, oh, I saved 10%. Back in my mind, I never remembered to actually like register online to pay off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started thinking about this idea of financial friction, and I kind of came up with this friction hierarchy. So I want to get your thoughts on this. So frictionless methods of payment would be like Apple Pay. Like, you just literally can take out your phone and tap it on a thing.
Yep.
There's very little you have to do there. Or the stored credit cards on a website, and you can just click, like on Amazon, like the one-click stuff where it's just like, it knows what address to send it to, it knows what credit card to put it on. Now, in your case, it might not. But for a lot of people, if they just have their own Amazon account with their own credit card and their own home address, you don't even have to add it to the cart and go through the checkout process anymore. You can just one-click buy now. So that's super frictionless.
Even the Apple Pay, if it's not just like touch it, it's like it just scans my face and it's paid.
Really? Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's crazy. Credit cards in general, like if you are out and about in real life, it's easy to throw your credit card out because you don't even have to do the mental accounting for, do I have this in my account? Because it's going on a credit card. It's not coming directly out of your checking account. So there's a little bit extra friction if you were to use a debit card, for instance. Now, we're not anti-credit card or anything like that, but there is some just different friction at play there. So that would be frictionless methods of payment. Apple Pay, stored credit cards, regular credit cards. So if we go to the next tier, we'll call them speed bumps, where you can still drive over them, but you have to slow down a little bit. And that would be like debit cards. So it's still easy, but you have to make sure there's money in that account because otherwise it could get declined.
Yep.
Manually typing your credit card info each time you make an online purchase instead of having it stored somewhere.
This makes you think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit extra. Like, as you're typing that, you go, do I actually? And I've done this before. Like, I've gone through a process, started typing my credit card, and you know what the biggest friction speed bump for me is on those is when the shipping cost gets added and it's like outrageous.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for those moments because then I go, I don't want this anymore because the shipping is just as much as the thing itself. So I'm not going to buy that. Amazon loves to do free shipping. So that part of the friction is removed there. So those are just speed bumps, debit cards and manual typing your credit card. Finally, the high friction would be like physical cash because you have a certain amount of cash and you actually have to see that start to disappear as you use it in reality.
I kind of disagree with that one.
I do too. And I want to hear what you say.
In my head, I have cash in my wallet, I'm no longer accounting for it. It's just like I've already blown it. Yeah. Like I can use whatever's in my wallet because nobody knows about it.
I'm the exact same way. I do spend more money. I think we went to a thing this weekend and I took out a decent amount of cash for it. And it was just like, sure, let's get whatever. We have extra money here. Like,
yeah,
it's earmarked for this thing. So yeah, I am the same way, but I think like Dave Ramsey's cash envelope system, I think that's a little extreme, but nevertheless, I do think in that case, that would be a good example of how that would create extra friction because you have a certain amount in this envelope for groceries. You don't have any more than that. So It's not free money in that situation. You literally have this amount of money for your grocery budget. And once that's gone, that envelope's empty.
Yeah. But I think his other thing was like, it's psychologically more painful to pay with cash. And I disagree with that.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I could see it both ways. When I have cash in my wallet, it does feel like this isn't going in my budget at this point because it's already out here. Writing a check is a pretty high friction. Like there's a more process to it.
Yeah, who to make it out to. Yeah,
it's got to come right out of the account, so you have to make sure the money's there. We're not necessarily suggesting everything you do needs to be the high friction category, but I wanted to come out with some kind of hierarchy for this idea of friction in your financial life?
I think probably in the last 10 years, the only times I've ever written checks is to church.
Yeah, me too, I think. I need it for a couple things, but I don't like it. I don't like writing. Yeah. I don't know. So that's the friction hierarchy. Take it or leave it. Not suggesting that you just make everything as high friction as possible, but...
Because the efficient brain in me wants to make things as frictionless as possible.
But just reconsider it is my point.
Yeah.
Reconsider what the efficiency is doing to you financially.
Right.
Is it making you subtly prompting you to make worse decisions?
Mm-hmm.
Are you overspending on Amazon? Are you overspending on DoorDash because it's just so easy to do it?
Do you, by one study or one company that looked into this, what do you think the average person spends on Amazon per day?
Per day. Average person in America?
Yeah, in America.
Oh man, that's crazy. I don't know, $10?
$7.70.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
lot
Per day. You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
Whatever. I'm not good at math, so I was gonna. However much per week, per month. It's a lot.
It's $210 to $220 a month, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
The average person.
Yeah, the average person. Yeah, per month. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just consider that in your own life. Are you spending too much in certain areas? How easy is it for you to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe take some of those efficiencies out.
Yeah.
Even just for a little bit, just to see if that helps at all. I think another example, so I'll kind of give this from my personal life. Years ago, if you wanted a couch, you'd have to like go to the store, think about it, test it out. You'd come back later, you'd save up for it, and then you'd make the decision. Now you can see a TikTok ad, click it, and then within 2 minutes, you could just have that couch on its way to your house. We did a few years ago, we went to like a Lovesac store, and we needed a new couch because ours just broke. And we had it for 2 years and it broke. Like we bought it brand new.
The Lovesac?
No, our old couch.
Okay.
We got married, bought a couch, and it broke within 2 years. And it was like, you know, it wasn't an expensive couch, obviously, because it broke right away. But it was $700, and that was a lot of money for us at the time.
Good chunk, yeah.
And I thought the thought of like, okay, let's just buy another one of those was silly to me. And so we've heard a lot about Lovesac's. They have this like lifetime warranty with some of the structural parts. So the thing that broke on my old couch would have been just replaced for free if it was a Lovesac. And so we decided to splurge a little bit on the Lovesac and kind of we treated it as an investment. I don't like calling goods like that an investment, but rather we're starting to have kids at this point. Kids are going to jump on the couches. They're going to spill stuff on the couches. Lovesacs are nice because you can just take the covers off and wash them.
Okay.
That's very convenient, especially with little kids. We've used that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to make that decision. And we did they offered like a 12-month credit card promotional thing with 0 interest. And so actually I think it was 24-month. So I did do that. And I don't regret it because we did think about it quite a bit ahead of time. It wasn't an impulse thing. And to me, like putting it on a 24-month credit card, which we paid off in like 18 months. We never had any interest on those payments. It was kind of the same thing as saving up for that ahead of time and paying it all in cash. Because I didn't have to pay any interest on it. It was just like I was using that payment as my savings to pay for it eventually. But in this case, we just got the couch right from the get-go. So
yeah, if you can do that, I don't see why not. They depend on people like not paying it all off in the 0% and then just making massive money. But yeah, if you can do it, you're kind of gaming the system.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not saying go do that every time you have the opportunity to, but because we were still in debt for a little bit with it. It was nice to pay it off. But to me, in my mind,
you're enjoying it.
It was, we still enjoy it. In my mind, we really needed a couch, and it's serving us very well. Yeah. So in my mind, that was actually a good decision. That was potentially an example of a bad decision, but I think it was good.
Sounds like it.
I don't know.
I think it would have been bad if you didn't pay it off in time.
Yes.
But you made it work.
Yeah.
Fun fact about me.
Yeah.
I have, in my life, not paid for a single couch.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have put that out there. After the luck you've had with your cars recently, I feel like at some point this is going to come back to you and you're going to have to buy a couch. And they're more expensive than you might realize if you've never had to buy one.
We were planning on it, but we bought our new house and the people who sold the house just left their like $3,000 couch in the house.
No way.
Yeah.
Sweet. Good for you.
We're set for a little while.
All right. Yeah, a good couch makes a difference.
Yeah.
Our old couch was terrible. And once we got the Lovesac, I was like, wow, this is sweet. People will like stay at our house and they'll sleep on it and be like, this is super comfortable.
Sleeping on couches, underrated.
I love taking a nap on that couch.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. Last night we were watching True Grit and the old John Wayne movie. And I was so comfortable. I just kept falling asleep. And my wife was like, do you want to finish this movie? And I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I kept falling asleep because it was so comfy. All right. Enough about couches. I think the point of that story was that there's nuance to all of this.
Yeah.
And that there's no one size fits all. We're not saying never buy anything ever.
And you thought about it.
Thought about it. Yeah. Think about
it. It wasn't just like you went to the store right away and
yeah.
You guys had put thought into it and decided it was a good, responsible financial decision.
For the most part, yeah. There was a little bit of, and this happens too, where you just like, what are we doing today? It was like President's Day. So like I was one of the random days in February that we have off. I think it was President's Day. And so we were like, let's go to the Lovesac store and just like see what they're like. And before we knew it, we were buying one, but we did think about, like, it's not like, it wasn't a total impulse thing, but it was like slightly. I don't want to just act like we had been thinking about it for months and months and months. Our couch broke. Let's go check out the Lovesacs. Then we had it. So
those holidays will get you.
I know.
I think I did that on Labor Day when I got a Blackstone grill. Ooh. It was like $100 cheaper.
Yeah.
And I was like, my grill is like on its last leg. Totally. So I may as well just do it. Yep.
So we'll get to some of the nuance in a little bit about there's no one size fits all for these rules. You might be in a season of life where the thought of spending thousands of dollars on a couch is like unthinkable. Like you absolutely cannot make that decision. But there will be some people that are further along in their wealth building journey where that it is a very easy decision to make, where it's like, yeah, that's not, sure, I can do that.
And if you can't afford the couch, make friends with the people that are ahead, and then you can keep collecting free couches like I have done in my life.
True. But back to your earlier point, if you're spending too much time with people that are further ahead than you, you're going to feel the temptation to live like they live.
True. You just got to balance it.
So, treating yourself is not inherently sinful or foolish. Ecclesiastes 5:18 says, "Behold, what I have seen to be good and fitting is to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun, the few days of his life that God has given him, for this is his lot." God is not calling you to a life of misery, to never enjoy it, to never spend money. We're not calling you to asceticism. There's just this principle in Scripture that you are allowed to enjoy your life.
Yeah, that God provides you with blessings to enjoy.
Yes. The real danger that we're trying to address today is the emotional impulse reactionary purchases.
Yeah, the as you said, treat yourself from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I also think of just the YOLO saying.
Right.
Similar concept.
Exactly. People tend to spend more when they're stressed, when they're bored, discouraged, insecure, comparing themselves when they're celebrating or when they're exhausted. So there's just some like potential frames of mind, states of mind that you might want to be aware of.
Comparing yourselves, that's actually interesting. Because I feel like in this culture with the phone and all the social media, it's so easy to compare yourself. And then you're sitting there with a phone where you can just impulsively spend. So, oh, look what this person just bought. That looks awesome. Let me find it on Amazon and buy it too.
For sure. Yeah. And the algorithms and the ads are so good at, they know what you've been looking at on your phone and on your computer. And they go, this guy's interested in this. Let me throw out this ad. And you're seeing this ad for the first time. And it's like, that thing looks really cool. Mm-hmm. I was looking for just this thing the other day. I'm in. They're really good at that. So,
and I know it's listening to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you mentioned something you want at the dinner table or something. And after dinner, it's right there on your phone.
I mean, just even us having this whole conversation right now, we can expect our phones are going to be picking up this and we're going to get ads.
Tons of credit card ads.
Amazon and I bet I'm going to get some Lovesac ads now.
now I'm going to be the one to get love sacks.
True.
Because
Yeah,
they know I haven't
they know
bought
I
a
already
couch.
have one. Yeah. So how many purchases are actually just emotional relief, or are they actual true needs? Like you have to consider that. Am I just trying to ease some emotional discomfort that I have right now, or do I actually need this thing?
Yeah. And I was reading that Amazon has actually created like the perfect storm of like for your brain's reward system, where like the searching creates the temptation. The buy now gives you like a certainty and control reward.
Yeah. Dopamine.
Shipping notifications give you more of that kind of small dopamine hit of like, oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
And then it comes, and obviously you're happy. So yeah, I was reading like Amazon actually put that process in place and like all the different buttons and stuff for that reason.
Yeah, I completely believe that. And then over time, when you make enough of these decisions, these small little rewards, or even the bigger rewards, start to become like the expectation and the norm. And so a luxury that's repeated enough times starts to actually feel like a necessity. If you go out to eat enough times, you go, yeah, this is just what we do. If you make this Amazon purchase enough times, yeah, this is just what I do. Like it went from this is a treat yourself one-time thing to I treat myself all the time.
Yeah. Even this isn't financial related, but I was convicted last night because Danielle was going to a Bible study and she walked out the door and my daughter goes, "Daddy, can we watch something on TV?" And I was like, "No, not tonight." And she was like, "But mommy's gone." And I was like, "Yeah, we do that sometimes, but not every time." She was like, "Why not? She's gone. She won't care."
Oh my goodness.
I was like, "Oh man, I've done it too much."
Exactly. Yeah, we were talking about that with our kids, how I realized for a while they were asking for treats after dinner every single night, that it was just like starting to become their expectation that like we have something sweet after every dinner. And it took a few nights to be like, we don't do this every night, guys. And they're like, yes. And they just would throw a fit and all these tantrums. They haven't asked for one in a long time. And I realized that last night. And I told Madeline, I was like, they haven't asked for one for a long time. That's awesome. But we were in a little bit of a bad habit of just doing it every single day that they were expecting it.
Yep.
So that's a good example. I think almost this idea of delayed gratification, I think makes sense when you apply it to other areas of life, that many, if not most meaningful things in life don't happen instantly,
right?
That they take time to build. And we've talked about this before, but I think investing is an easy example of that. What
about those quick, successful stock option hits?
Yeah, that works too. But
maybe
I'm kidding. Investing, yeah, we're not talking about hitting this. The slot machine is the opposite of that.
Right.
Like that's just a quick.
People try to use investing as a slot machine.
True.
But
we've talked about fitness on the pod before. That's not going to happen overnight. Your marriage wasn't built in a day. You probably didn't propose to your spouse or get proposed to by your spouse on day one, if I had to guess.
No. It's like a year and a half for me, I think.
Okay.
How long were you?
How long did we date before I had proposed? Yeah. 3 months.
Okay.
So it was pretty quick.
You were a quick one.
Yeah. So I don't, totally embody this principle there, but
it's worked.
Yeah. We're 6 years in now.
Yeah.
Almost. Parenting, that's a long process.
Parenting's, a weird one, because I feel like you start to feel like you're figuring it out, and now they're a different age, and like now there are all these other challenges.
Yeah. Oh man, I believe it. Building your business, sanctification. That's a very long process. Learning anything, if you're becoming an expert in your craft. What do they say? It takes like 10,000 hours or something to become an expert.
Sounds right.
We'll go with it.
Yeah. Nobody's going to fact check us.
Yeah. They're just good things take time. And it should really be no different with big purchases that you're considering. Go into it with some prayer, take some time with it, think about it, run the numbers, or stress it. Like, let's go. I like in financial plans running like worst case scenarios, mid case scenarios, and best case scenarios, and seeing like across the spectrum, how does this financial decision impact? If the worst things happen, if middle of the road happens, or the best things happen, like, how does it look?
Yeah, makes sense.
So I talked about this earlier. I want to throw this out to you, Logan, and get your thoughts on this. There's a book, I haven't read it, so I have to caveat this with that, by Nick Majuli, called The Wealth Ladder. He wrote it Came out like last year. But I listened to him talk on a podcast about this. And he's created this system for this kind of a thing, like thinking through the decision, the financial decisions you make based on your net worth.
Okay.
So he has 5 levels on this ladder, these different wealth levels. And so level 1 would be a kind of a paycheck to paycheck person. This is somebody with a net worth of $0 to $10,000, and they have little to no flexibility in their financial lives to make any sort of spontaneous financial decisions. They are just living very literally paycheck to paycheck.
They're doing the Dave Ramsey cash method.
Yeah. They have to be very strict. Level 2, he calls it grocery freedom. And this is if you have a net worth of $10,000 to $100,000. And this unlocks you to, I can get the organic eggs, or I can get the premium coffee because I'm not so strapped that I have a little bit extra flexibility in my daily life that I can make a little bit nicer decisions.
Yeah. Real quick on that. The other night, we had no plans for dinner, and Judah just had a baseball game, so I stopped at Giant. I was like, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go grab some stuff to grill or whatever. And I walked back out to the car like 20 minutes later. I was like, this is why hungry people don't go to the grocery store. I got so much more stuff than we needed.
100%. Yeah, I wrestle with this one a little bit because I feel like that's our biggest budget crusher is groceries. Like we spend so much money on groceries. So I feel like we need more money to be able to spend what we do spend, but whatever. This is what he says.
Okay.
So he calls it grocery freedom in this net worth range, $10,000 to $100,000.
Okay.
These are just increments. It just multiplies by 10. So level 3 then would be $100,000 to $1 million net worth. So a pretty wide range of net worth.
Yeah.
And he calls this restaurant freedom. This is, you can order what you want from where you want. Like you have more flexibility in the restaurants you go to.
Okay.
You can go out to eat and not.
That seems like a bigger jump, but
yeah.
I guess it is because you're going all the way up to $1 million, but yeah.
Level 4, travel freedom. This is a net worth of $1 million to $10 million. And this is, you can book the flight, you can upgrade the room, you can fly first class. You don't have to worry about that. You can make that decision without even blinking an eye. Level 5 is house freedom. I lied. There's 6 levels. I said 5. There's 6. House freedom. This is where you can own your dream home and not worry about it. That's if you have a net worth
10 to 100.
10 to 100 million.
Okay.
And then we're going to go to level 6, and that's philanthropic freedom. That's 100 million plus. And that is, you can make a massive difference in your generosity by giving however much you want without it having any impact on your financial plan. So there's this idea in his framework here that delayed gratification will kind of change as you climb this proverbial ladder.
Yeah.
That you can basically change what you're delaying based on your overall liquid net worth. I struggle with this a little bit because it's less based on your income, it seems, and more based on your liquid net worth. And if you have all of your money in a 401k and like nothing in cash, I'm not exactly sure. Like if you have $100,000 in a 401k and nothing else,
paycheck to paycheck,
you're basically living a paycheck to paycheck. Otherwise, I'm not exactly sure how you could be in this restaurant freedom.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of nuance here, and I'm sure it's explained in the book. But what are your thoughts on this concept?
I think the concept makes sense. I feel I would have to think about the amounts a little bit more. The philanthropic one, I think, is too delayed. Like what was 100 million?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, that just seems like you're just prioritizing too many other things.
Yeah.
To feel like I've got to hit 100 million before I can give substantially to anything I want to.
Right. Yeah. I think I have in my notes, like I would disagree with that too. Like we've talked about generosity before. You don't have to wait till you have $100 million net worth to be generous. But I think where I would kind of agree in some sense is like, imagine what you could do to fuel kingdom work if you had $100 million.
Right.
Like just imagine the type of work you could fund with that level of income or that level of assets.
And then the other house is 10 to 100.
House is 10 to 100.
To 100 million. I mean, that seems like I feel like people have different priorities. Some people, their dream house is a relatively modest house. They don't really care about taking care of that much house. So, yeah, I think the framework makes sense, but I think that people are too dynamic to potentially put into this specific framework. What do you think about the house one?
Yeah, I agree. When you kind of put it in those terms, it feels like, really, like if I have a $7 million net worth, I don't have the flexibility to live where I want to live.
Right.
Like that does seem high, like a high number to shoot for, to truly have house freedom. But I suppose he is thinking much more like you can literally own any house you want once you're in the 10 to $100 million range.
There was a house that just went for sale in out near Villanova. That I saw the asking price is like $15 million right now. So
yeah, maybe
if you're at $10 million,
you'll be. So let me add another little extra rule he has in his book. He calls it the 0.01% rule. So this is, you take your net worth, whatever yours happens to be, and you multiply it by 0.0001. So truly, it's not 1%; it's 0.01% of your net worth. And that is your guilt-free daily spending allowance on top of your regular income. So as an example, if let's say you have $100,000 net worth, that grants you an extra $10 per day that you could spend guilt-free outside of your regular income. Every day. So level 1, paycheck to paycheck, that's $0 a day. You don't have any extra dollars at your disposal. Level 2, that's $1 a day that you could spend extra. So $365 a year. Level 3, that's level 2 is 0 to 10.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, 10 to 100.
So yeah, it depends on where you fall in there, but yeah.
Yeah, we're just going at the base, the lowest part of that range. Level 3 is when you get to $100,000, that's $10 extra dollars a day. Then level 4, that's $100 extra dollars a day. Level 5 is $1,000 extra dollars a day, and then level 6 is $10,000 extra dollars a day. So it's wild to think about when you have $100 million that you could spend $10,000 extra per day without worrying. Like, just imagine going into a church and just being like, "Here's $10,000," and you can do that every single day.
Yeah, it's been a full week. Here's 70.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just an interesting thought. We're not advocating for that book at all because we haven't read it. But I wanted to at least bring it into this conversation because I think the idea of guilt-free spending will change based on where you are in your financial life. The more money you have, I think that $20 Amazon purchase is probably not going to derail you. But when you're in the living paycheck to paycheck, you have to be careful with those kinds of things.
Yeah, and it's also going to depend on your stage of life.
Yeah.
You might be in the 100,000 to 1 million or 1 million to 10 or whatever, but you've got 3 kids in college and your expenses are sky high right now.
Right.
So you might not really have the 100 or whatever a day, $10 to $100 a day because your expenses are uncharacteristically high for a short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting thought. Take that with a grain of salt. But wanted to at least bring that up, that there is, I think the idea, basically what I want to communicate is that this is kind of an evolving thing, that as you progress in your financial life, the decisions that were huge decisions 2 years ago will maybe be more minor decisions or just less of a big deal today.
Yeah. And
hopefully that will just continue to change as you continue to grow and better your financial life.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. One of the things I wanted to run by you, this was what I was kind of personally thinking about, how to qualify like a big purchase, like a couch or something. I came up with 4, but kind of 5 things. If there's an option for a payment plan, now I feel like that one's getting a little bit less as a qualification of a big purchase, because I feel like sometimes I get online and something costs $50 and it's like, oh, or 4 payments of $15 or whatever. And
right.
Like the payment plans are going down. If it affects monthly cash flow, if it delays savings goals, if it takes more than a paycheck or 2 to cover. And then this last one I read, I don't know who to attribute it to, but somebody said kind of similar to your 0.01%, but this was, if what you're buying is 1% of your annual income, it's probably a big purchase.
Yeah. That makes sense. If you make $100,000, if $1,000 is a big purchase,
be a big purchase for you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I think we can kind of hit some of these categories. We've covered a decent amount of these on different episodes, so we won't go crazy. But like some big decisions where this could really bite you. Cars would be a kind of a big.
That one's tough though, because I feel like that one you need more. There's potentially more of a need.
Yeah.
Like I typically drive cars until they don't drive anymore.
Yeah.
And so I can't wait a month if my car just won't drive anymore.
Sure.
I have to buy a new car relatively quickly.
Right. But I think you can exercise foresight with, like, if you're driving a car with 130,000 miles on it or 200,000 miles on it, you should probably be prepared to replace that car at some point, which is why we put those in financial plans. So it's not that you should always be saving for a car because, they're expensive and it's difficult. We recognize it's difficult to pay for cars in cash. If you're buying a $30,000 car, you might not have that liquidity to pay in cash. So you very well might need to finance it. And we talked about financing cars and our general advice there. But to your point, agree, if your car could die at any moment, you just need to get one. So there is some level of urgency and impulse in that. But I think you should have probably been thinking about this to some degree. And maybe it's just as simple as like, I know what I'm going to get. I know what my budget will be for the next car. And you don't just show up at a dealership and go, what do you got? And you see some really cool cars and you go, yeah, this one's cooler than this one. It's more expensive, but I'm going to go with that one. Like, you have to go, when you buy a car, you have the budget in mind and make sure you run the numbers ahead of time so you know what is my top level, because you're going to go there and you're going to see cooler cars. You're going to see nicer cars that are more expensive, and they're going to be just outside your budget range, and you're going to be so tempted to do it. So know what your top, like what you really truly can afford.
Yeah. But I also kind of like the negotiation game.
All right.
It's fun to me thinking that I beat them. I know I didn't, but in my head, it's like I got them down. So,
dude, I've bought 2 cars in the past 5 years, and I have tried it both times, and they're just like, no, this is what the car costs. Like, this isn't a movie. We don't do this. So I'm like, I guess this is not a real thing. But
you just gotta. I literally stood up, and they were like, "Oh, just a sec. Let me go talk to the manager."
I guess I don't do that. Whatever. So cars, I think the big thing with a car is having that in your mind. What my budget is, what can I truly afford? Because they're gonna tempt you with cooler cars, nicer
or
cars,
just more features.
Yeah.
Do you want to get the sunroof?
Yeah. And it's gonna be like, it's only an extra $20 a month on your payment. You're gonna be like, sure. Like,
what's $20?
What's $20?
I'll buy 2 less coffees a month.
Exactly. And then they just keep doing it with more stuff, and then before you know it, you've spent way too much money. So homes are another one. We've talked about being house rich, cash poor. This is a real thing.
Yeah.
And this is a decision that's like 30 years. Like, it's a huge decision.
Yeah, and it's easy and tempting because it's so easy to walk through a house and be like, man, I could really see myself living here. Like, if I live here, I can save money in other places because we're not going to go out to eat as much or things like that. So yeah, that's a tough temptation to fight.
Yeah, and it'll only be a matter of time before you're 6 months into the house, and it's just like your old house, and you find things that you get frustrated with in this house, and it's maybe not as luxurious as you envisioned it initially. I mean, it could be, but
things that you don't anticipate potentially go, like if your AC goes or your heat goes, something like that.
Right. Yeah. So you got to be careful with homes for sure. So don't stretch your butt. Same thing with a house or with a car. Have your top level in mind and don't go higher than that. The real estate agent, you're going to get approved for more than you should be, and your real estate agent's going to want to sell you a bigger house because that's more money for them. So they're not your friends. I mean, maybe you could have a real estate agent friend that legitimately will have your best interest in mind, but
I still hang out with my realtor.
Nice. Good for you. Actually, the guy that we don't own a house, but the guy that we have worked with when we had put offers on houses in the past, he was pretty cool. I liked him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so cars, homes, we talked about lifestyle inflation, when you just like your bonuses or your tax return or whatever, just like that stuff immediately disappears. That's maybe a bit of a problem.
Yeah. But also in the spirit of enjoying your blessings, I've always kind of liked just finding like something small if I get a bonus to like reward myself with, even if it's as simple as like, I'm going to go get lunch today.
Yeah.
Rewarding yourself when you get
I think
achievements.
Yeah, we should talk about that sometime. Like, what do we do with windfalls? And maybe we have before, but Like, I'm not advocating for saving 100% of it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if you spend 100% of it every single time, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yep.
Or if you're just paying off debt that you've accumulated in the meantime, like you're clearly living beyond your means. You're living even worse than paycheck to paycheck. You're actually living beyond your means and you're using bonuses to catch up from that. That's bad. Don't advocate for that. But I think if you get a bonus, spend 20% of it.
Yeah.
Give 20% of it and save the rest. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Come up with some allocation. Vacations are an interesting one. We are pro vacation. We think it's good to go on vacation and enjoy your life, spend time with your family. But you could definitely overdo it.
Yeah.
You could go on a too big of a vacation. You can go on vacation
Too long.
too often.
Yeah.
And you could overspend here easily because it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's expensive, and the more kids you have, the more expensive it gets.
Yeah.
And depending on where you go, you could go to an area where maybe it's cheap to rent, but everything is super expensive there. So yeah, just consider everything as you're looking at a place to enjoy.
Yeah. And you don't have to, like, your kids will remember, if you have a family that is, I've heard this before, that like your kids don't need the luxury vacation. You want the luxury vacation. Your kids will just remember, I don't know, when I was a kid, my fondest family memories were we would go on this, it's kind of a long story, but it was basically just like a week Bible conference that was, we didn't have to pay for it because we were kind of whatever. And it was our favorite week of the year because it was just like a lot of fun. There was a pool there and it wasn't some luxury vacation or anything. It was just like a Pocono Bible conference. That was my favorite place to be. And your kids don't need the big fancy vacation. They just need to be with you. And you can do that pretty inexpensively.
We're in the Poconos.
It's just a small town, Montrose, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and then we've talked about these like small recurring spending where it's just like these things add up, subscriptions that you just keep adding because they're $5 a month. And before you know it, you have 10 of them.
Make sure you keep track of them.
Yep. Dining out a lot. This is probably my family's biggest struggles. We just like the convenience and like we like going out to eat because it's just fun and we probably do it more than we should. And then
Has that gone down at all with the new edition?
No. No, it's fun. We enjoy it too much. And there's great restaurants around here that make it all the more tempting. So we have to be careful with that. That's our biggest like temptation and struggle, I would say.
Yeah, it's an easy one especially when you're like, we don't have a whole lot in the fridge. Like, let's go enjoy something.
And like, as soon as either of us suggests it, the other one's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no like, no, we really shouldn't. It's like, sure.
I don't want to cook.
Yeah, exactly. Those impulse online purchases. So these are less major purchases and more the small recurring ones that you just kind of keep doing over and over again. Being careful with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. As we kind of wrap things up here, let's talk about like what wise enjoyment actually looks like. And so, like we said, you don't need to feel guilty for enjoying your life. 1 Timothy 6:17 says, God richly provides us with things to enjoy. So what are some ways that you can wisely enjoy your life?
Well, if you kind of as we've talked about different things that you could go too high on, you can wisely enjoy by budgeting for things that you enjoy. Kind of the margin funded enjoyment. Yeah.
Yeah. Planning for it.
Yeah.
Plan your vacations well ahead of time. Save for them.
Yeah. And then while you're there, be grateful for it.
Yeah.
Kind of just enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Be grateful for kind of all the different things, all the different resources, and just things that God's blessed you with.
Yeah. If you have something that you want to buy that you're like, I think this would be a really helpful thing to have, and it's more expensive. Set up, we've talked about sinking funds, one of my favorite things. Logan hates them, but whatever. Set up a sinking fund where you can save specifically for that thing in a separate account, or at least allocate it. It could be in the same savings account, and you can just set up a spreadsheet. That's what I do with each balance of each particular sinking fund. Save for it there, and eventually, depending on your timeline of when you want to buy it, you'll have enough to pay for it all, or at least mostly in cash. So you're not financing the whole thing and potentially adding more debt to your life. I have a new one. I have a new thing that I really want.
Oh no.
that I really want to start saving for, because I recently bought a purple pillow, and it's the
Can't stop talking about this pillow.
Dude, it's the sweetest thing. It's the best pillow I've ever had in my life. And so now I really want a purple mattress, but those are super expensive.
What makes the purple pillow so good?
It's so comfortable. I've never slept on anything more comfortable.
Okay.
Every other pillow that I've ever had, I hated with every fiber of my being, but this pillow, I love it. It's so sweet.
I use the My Pillow, the guy with the corny commercials.
Yeah. He's a Christian, isn't he?
I think so.
I don't know about the purple people, but their pillows are sweet. So I want one of their mattresses too, but it's too expensive, so I can't just buy one.
So how much are they?
I think it depends on the one you get, but it's thousands of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did just see something you can put over your mattress that if you run warm, it cools you down, but if you run cold, it warms you up. So it's like perfect for a couple but I think it's like $3,000.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. So plan for these things, plan for big decisions, start saving for them. I think you can, it transforms you from like feeling guilty about the decisions you make to like feeling guilt-free because you've planned for this and you've saved for it. And I think you deep down, when you make a decision kind of hastily and you go, yeah, technically we can make it work, but I feel a little guilty about this, to like, no, I've saved hard for this. I've been waiting for a year to make this decision, and now I'm finally ready to pull the trigger. There's something much more deeply satisfying about the delayed gratification than there is about the dopamine of the instant gratification that I think is definitely worth the payoff.
Yeah, agreed. I'm just thinking through the variety of things I pay for and whether or not I should be more patient.
Yeah, and it is really hard to implement this in reality, but I don't know. I think about like a kid who, gets his first job and really wants a specific thing but his parents, like, that's too expensive. We're not going to get that for you for your birthday. And so he gets his first job and he just diligently sets aside money, saves, works hard, continues to save. And then he finally has enough in his piggy bank or whatever it is. And he goes out and buys the thing. Like, what a rewarding thing that is. And I think we could all learn from that kid a little bit, where if we really want something, let's actually put the plan in action to save for it and not just continue to hope for it and desire it without actually making a plan to figure out how to get it. And then we make the impulse buy one day where you just go, you know what, forget it, I'm buying this. And then you end up in a bad financial, situation.
Yeah, I do remember growing up how rewarding it felt to think about, like, I loved the N64 video games.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing how much they were and doing the math in my head, like, all right, I get this much allowance. It's going to take me 3 months, but if I save all of my allowance for all 3 months, I can go to the store and I can get that game. And like after 3 months, it felt great.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like a deeper satisfaction. Like the instant gratification feels really good, that dopamine hit, but it fades quickly.
Yeah.
There's something deeply satisfying when you can like have that payoff of like, I've waited for this and I've saved for this. It's kind of like if you were to, like, if just using eating out as an example, or like go to driving through McDonald's and getting a burger or whatever, like that's cheap. It's tastes good. And it's not very satisfying, and you feel guilty. You feel guilty afterwards. But if you cook a meal and you like put your time and effort into it and hard work into it, you follow a recipe or whatever, it's a much more satisfying meal.
Yeah. I'm all about following the recipes, like to the T.
Yeah, totally. All right. So a couple like potential guardrails against some of these impulse buys. What do you think of this framework? So if it's $100 purchase in that range, sleep on it. Give it one night. If it's $1,000, give it a week. Think about it for a week. If it's $10,000 or more, give it a full month.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I go back to is the car, and if my car dies, I can't wait. I think that's the only hole I can think of right now, though. I think everything else probably makes sense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as it's things that you enjoy and not necessities.
Yeah.
Like you've got to pay tuition or something like that. That's going to be more, but you don't really have a choice.
Or you have to go to the emergency room because your kid breaks their arm and you know that it's going to be a $5,000 bill, and you go, you know what, let's wait a week.
Let me go home and think about this.
I can't make that decision tonight. Yeah, those things will happen.
Yeah.
Avoid monthly payment thinking. We've talked about this with cars. Like, they're going to trick you and think, like, try to lower that monthly payment as much as possible and stretch out that term as long as possible, because that feels so much better when you go, I could afford an extra $20 a month. I can afford an extra $60 a month. That you end up, if you do that enough times, you'll be overwhelmed with debt.
Yeah. I was looking at, I think it was tickets for 76ers playoffs or something. Cause I was like, oh, how do like all these people go?
Yeah.
And you could, the tickets were like $200 or $300 for decent seats, and you could like extend the amount of time to pay off
Really?
like a 76ers game. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Mm-hmm. They want butts in the seats. So
I did not go.
Yes, makes sense. Okay. As we wrap up here, delayed gratification, it's kind of touches on contentment issues, self-control, your identity. I think purchases can have an impact on the way that you think about yourself, because you go, I want this thing that's going to make me feel more like this, and I want to feel more like this.
And that person bought it, and I deserve as much as they do.
That's right. So think about that when you're making your financial decisions. Am I making this because I just want to feel better about myself? Am I not truly rooted in my identity as a Christian, as a husband, father, like all the really important roles in my life? Do I not feel content in those things? And I'm just trying to make myself feel better with this. You know, that could be a dangerous spot to be in. You could make some pretty poor financial decisions if that's the case.
And then ultimately feel a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure. And then sometimes we buy quickly because we feel like we're missing out, or we're feeling behind, or we're just not looking successful enough. And that's a dangerous trap too. So
yeah, the FOMO.
Yeah.
It's no good.
Yep. But we're all tempted by it. We understand it, but hopefully we can shed a little light on it to maybe make you reconsider some of those.
Sometimes it's good. FOMO.
Tell me.
Like, I have FOMO when I know that people are hanging out and I might not be able to make it. I have that, like, I want to be there hanging out with people, but I can't make it for one reason or another. I get FOMO there. I don't think that's bad FOMO. I think it's good to want to be with people. I can't tell if you agree or disagree right now.
I was trying to think of it. I feel like I saw an acronym recently that was like phobia or something, and it's like fear of being included. Sometimes I have that. I just want to go to sleep on my purple pillow.
No, I can't get one because I don't want to like sleep that much.
Dude,
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
It's so sweet. All right. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit.
Yeah.
So exercise a little self-control in your financial life. But also enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Figure out that balance. Hopefully some of the things we said, I don't know, I feel like a rambling episode, but hopefully some things we said made sense and maybe resonated.
I think we made all the sense in the world.
That's what I like to hear. If you thought we made any sense, let us know. Or if you thought we made no sense, let us know. It was fun to talk about it.
And now we're on the last page where I have notes about Wawa mozzarella sticks.
There you go. Well, if that's all we have, thanks for listening. Tune in again next week. God bless.
God bless.
Investment advisory services offered through Stonecrop Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. This material is intended for informational purposes only.